This article was recently published in the Times talking about just how problematic fitfluencers are. It referenced some research I'm going to talk about. Hashtag fitspiration. This is what the research is called. It was a credibility screening. It was a content analysis of popular Instagram fitness accounts from Curtis and colleagues out of Australia. Here's what they did. They started with a Google search of top Instagram fitspiration accounts, and they did a series of screenings on these accounts to quantify whether or not the account was credible. For the first stage, they used 4 primary criteria. They looked at nudity or minimal clothing outside of normal fitness context. They looked at the sexualization or objectification of specific body parts, like the badunkadunk. They looked at extreme body types, whether it be leanness or muscularity, and they looked at whether or not the accounts were actually posting fitness-related content. So 4 of the most recent 15 posts had to be fitness-related. From there, they went to stage 2 screening. They looked at the actual images, the captions, the hashtags, and they wanted to quantify suspected image manipulation, promotion of thinspiration ideals, unhealthy or excessive attitudes about fitness, or thinspo hashtags. And then finally, they looked at the prevalence of different types of content and the actual characteristics of the account holder, like their education, their credentials, whether or not the account was verified. Ultimately, they concluded that 2/3 of these popular accounts were not credible. 2/3. Yeah. And to be honest, that's probably a conservative estimate because we're not even getting into the more nuanced credibility issues like whether or not a certified trainer is offering nutrition advice or what type of certifications trainers have. Some are obviously more credible than others. So with not super stringent criteria, 2/3 of these popular accounts were not credible. That's terrifying. One of the simplest ways to elevate our knowledge is to elevate our sources of information. Sources on social media are problematic. Not some of them, but most of them. A couple things to think about here. One, we probably all need to spend less time on social, myself included. We need better screening tools for social. This is a good first step, not just for us, but also for our kids. And we need to be ruthless about unfollowing accounts. The original New York Times article offered some good advice. If an account makes you feel bad about yourself, that's a clue that it should be unfollowed. Ultimately, we're the gatekeepers of what goes into our brain in the same way that we're the gatekeepers of what goes into our belly. And in the same way that we have autonomy over when and how to move, we need to keep these gates well protected. We can't just let social media happen to us. It doesn't have our best interest at heart. Curious what you think. This affects all of us. Be sure to like, follow, and share on Instagram. That, my friends, is irony. I'll talk to you soon.